Alright, what's up, fuckers? So today we're going to be talking about the state of Untamed in 2023. So I have made a lot of videos on Untamed. I think that's kind of a understatement. I have made an absolute fucking shitload of videos on this spec because I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the Ranger class as a whole, and I think Untamed is quite a bit of fun. It's got some problems, obviously, but I'm very passionate about the spec, and it's just I've been a big fan of it ever since the reveal trailer. Ever since they first showed off that trailer and showed off the gameplay, and when it came out, even when everyone hated it, I was there and I fucking love this spec. So if you have any doubts about my experience with Untamed, just know I've been here and I've loved this spec and I've been passionate about it ever since the first beta, hell, ever since the trailer was shown. So I just want to get that out of the way. So this is going to be a pros and cons kind of video, and it's going to be kind of commentary style focus. So if you want to lay back, put this on your other monitor or put it in the background or whatever, go ahead and do that. It's not going to be anything really noteworthy on the screen going on. So yeah. So the pros here about Untamed is that Fervent Force is a unbelievably overpowered trait. It's fucking insane, okay? Fervent Force is a trait where whenever you disable a foe, which the main weapon on the hammer is the the main weapon on Untamed is the hammer, and the hammer is sort of like a hybrid weapon. So whenever your pet is unleashed, you have very disable or like immobilizing kind of effects going on, which is really nice. And then whenever you're unleashed, it's just balls deep, shove that shit in their mouth, damage focus. That's really what it's about. And they do have some skills here that are kind of like, hey, you do more damage against disabled foes or foes with conditions or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's Fervent Force, disabling a foe. I mean, also you have your utility skills and shit like that you can disable with. And technically, I think there's a disable you could do with like combo fields and shit. Actually, no, that's Daze. Yeah, that's Daze with the lightning combo field. But still, Fervent Force, phenomenal trait. You disable, reduces your cooldowns of all your skills. 4 seconds. That is fucking crazy, dude. 4-second recharge reduction. Maybe like some people, I've seen some people who say that looked kind of lackluster on paper, and then I'm just like, dude, the amount of like disables you could have is fucking insane. Some people use like fucking Storm Spirit here. You got, I mean, there's just a ton of things you could use for disabling on the Ranger toolkit. It's fucking crazy, and especially Exploding Spores, which is a cantrip from Untamed, really cool. Ferocious Symbiosis is also a solid damage trait to go with. This is another pro. I think it's a really cool skill that actually got buffed a couple of months ago. So before it was 3% per stack, stacks up to 5 times, which means it was at 15% damage for both you and your pet. So how this trait kind of works is whenever you hit someone, your pet gains 1 stack of Ferocious Symbiosis. With a little interval there. It's like, what is that, half a second interval? It's really not that much. And then whenever your pet hits someone, you get a stack of Ferocious Symbiosis. So you're essentially granting your pet more damage, and your pet is granting you more damage, and you can rank up stacks incredibly quickly. Your pet zooms across to new targets with increased movement speed. In total, you could basically always keep up 20% damage for you and your pet. That is a pretty sizable increase, especially considering the fact that you're going to be staying unleashed a lot. Most of the time on the Ferocious Symbiosis build, you are unleashed. The only time you unleash your pet is for disable skills on your hammer or to make use of the unleashed power buff by transferring and then untransferring to use your ambush skill, which could be really solid with one of the traits, and using your 3 pet skills, of course. Also, great quality of life improvement happened about half a year ago, I think, where they added the option to auto-cast some of the pet abilities, where when it came out, obviously the other Ranger specs don't have that option to be able to control all of their pet skills, right? You can only control the beast skill. But on Untamed, we had all of the skills. Now, the most frustrating thing about it is that you had to manually press this. No longer was your pet this sentient creature who could, it's its own thing. That's what makes the pet so cool, is it's its own companion you could bring alongside you. It didn't feel like it. It felt just like an extension of yourself, which sucked. Where now you can have it auto-casted, which is really cool. So yeah, there's that. Great skill. I really like it, and people are finally coming around to it. It's great for lower APM builds in comparison to Fervent Force. And yeah, it's really fucking solid. Puts out a decent bit of damage, and if you want to play with your pet on Ranger and have a core ranger plus like experience, I think this is going to be a great option for you going with Ferocious Symbiosis here. Hammer is a fucking phenomenal weapon. It does a lot of goddamn damage. No matter what build you're on, either Ferocious or Fervent here, it does a lot of fucking damage. It's really good. And it's got a lot of disabling function here as well. It's really an all-around incredible weapon, which is kind of cool because when it first came out, at least in like the betas, it was kind of underwhelming. But now it's like, yeah, this is a really solid weapon. It outperforms any other ranger weapon you could use on a power build in PvE. By the way, this is PvE focused. I know it's like a popular PvP spec. This is all PvE focused here. It's a really good fucking weapon now. It's really solid. And the ambush skill is also really cool. You do like a spin to win move and shit. It's really cool. Semi-pet focus. That's another thing here. So there's a few things that really improve your pet with, Untamed. So we have, of course, the pet skills on the Unleash skills. They're all pretty solid in terms of like pet damage. Unfortunately, these can't be auto cast, which definitely feels like shit. But the cool thing is you can cast them all. Like, oh shit, I did the wrong fucking one there. All right, shit. No, I pressed fucking W or Q instead of W. God damn it, that like never happens too. That's so weird. All right, he's dead. And you can see, I got the 5 stacks just like that there. But yeah, so the Unleash skills, right? You can cast them like literally just like that and go back. So that's kind of the advantage. I have them on my mouse keys actually. I have the Logitech G502, so I actually have my mouse 4 and mouse 5, and then my mouse 3 as those buttons. So it's really quick. Shift mouse, and then that shit. I don't have it on just the regular keys, but yeah. So the semi-pet focus, like I said, that part's cool. Of course, we got Ferocious Symbiosis for your pet. We're going to be talking about some of the more pet-focused traits later. A couple of them feel kind of underwhelming, but yeah, pretty cool. You got a semi-pet focus there, which is nice. So another thing here is it's incredibly tanky. That's another pro. It's unbelievably tanky. It's fucking insane. So of course you got your Unleashed ambush skills, which pretty much all of them will do life siphoning. They'll give you, life siphoning. What am I saying? They'll heal you a little bit. It's pretty cool. As long as you're damaging, of course. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. You also get just baseline increased vitality. What trait does... It's this one right here. Baseline 240 more vitality, which I think is about 2 or 3k, isn't it? Pretty sure it's actually about 2.5k. So if you use this, and then you use a tier 10 Jade bot, I'm at 21.2k. That's really good. This is without any buffs or anything. 21.2k, really, really solid. I'm on all Berserker's gear, so yeah, pretty fucking solid there. Of course, we have that too, and then we have some of these skills are give you some tanky shit there as well. With Force Fortification is really goddamn good. It's really, really solid. Great skill, great elite skill for really, I think, all parts in the game. I'm pretty sure this thing is a really great elite skill. And then we have the Pearliest Gift skill. I actually like this one better before that weird fucking nerf they did. It was really odd. So before, you would still take damage, but you would get down to 1 health, and you wouldn't die while the little buff was active, that 3-second thing, and then it would heal you 50% of your missing health, which was a phenomenal heal. Now, though, it's a little weird. It's kind of like, I don't really know what the fuck they did with this trait, honestly. It was weird. I don't know. It was a weird nerf they did. I really have no idea why the fuck they did that, but yeah, there's that. Now, unfortunately, I'm forced to use We Heal as one because I have a more pet-focused kind of build. But yeah, so that kind of does it for the pros. That's kind of all the pros of using Untamed here in early 2023 in Guild Wars 2. And by the way, this isn't getting shit for changes, alright? So anything you're going to be seeing here, pros and cons, no fucking changes this month with the patch coming up. I was really disappointed to see that they only changed one goddamn thing on Untamed. That was such a sad moment for me, but yeah. Cons: Fervent Force, incredibly fast paced. That's kind of the trade-off. It does a lot of damage, but it is unbelievably fast paced. You gotta have the best fingering skills in the world. Like, if you have a girlfriend, she's gotta be raving about it on fucking Twitter about, okay, well, Jesus, that's getting a little sexual, I'm sorry. The audience range of Guild Wars 2 is not my intended audience range, okay? My intended range is 18 to 24, but Guild Wars is like 25 to 31 or 25 to 32. That is my biggest audience range, man, and it feels terrible because that's not what I'm going for. So hopefully people are like, you know, vibing or whatever with my humor, whatever the fuck people say nowadays. But yeah, God, I feel old. God, I'm 22 and I'm saying whatever the fuck people say nowadays. That's so weird. Anyway, yeah, Fervent Force, incredibly fast paced. All right. Lack of pet boon share. Still, it sucks, man. I've been complaining about this for a year now. Nature Magic is the trait that allows you to share boons with your pet. You look at the Mechanist, right? The fucking Mechanist has option as the shift signet, which is an overloaded signet. They should call it the overloaded signet. All right, we have the overload signet and then the overloaded signet. So the shift signet, the fucking passive grants you like increased move speed, and it copies the boons you get to your pet. Full duration, which is fucking awesome. The whole duration of that boon that you get is going to your pet, which is fucking sweet, right? And you'll see later, we get fucking shafted in this area even today. Yeah, so it's really cool. And then, of course, you have the active, which teleports you and is a stun break and removes conditions, I think. It's fucking crazy, dude. I'm so surprised they haven't changed that. The closest thing we have is like 2 things on here. You can kind of consider 3. 2, really, though. We have the Nature Magic trait line, which, by the way, is supportive focused. Alright, so the only time you're really going to be running this on Untamed is if either you're a complete moron, me when I was doing my pet focus build, or the Beastmaster build. That was never supposed to be taken seriously, though. And people who are... God, that's such a dick thing to say, huh? People who want to apply Alacrity with Untamed, which there is an Alacrity build on Untamed. There is one for Fervent Force and Ferocious Symbiosis. Fervent Force, you use all Berserker's gear. It's Tit Milk. Ferocious Symbiosis, you like throw in a couple diamond rings or whatever. Or, Diviner rings. Diviner rings, and you're good. Now, unfortunately, the pet, the trait on this fucking supportive focus line is a boon share trait, and that's when you get a boon, it is shared with your pet. So this is a fucking trait. It's not a utility skill. You're forced to take this entire trait line, a very precious thing, an entire trait line for boon share. And it's not even full duration, man. It's not even full duration. Your pet cannot get the quickness, cannot get perma quickness with you in group content. It can't keep up with the buffs that you have, which sucks. That feels terrible. I could just put on a fucking utility skill on my Mechanist and get full boon share. But on here, you gotta take an entire fucking trait line to get it passively like that, which blows, because this would be fine if it was Beast Mastery. Why isn't this even on Beast Mastery? It should be, but it's not. And it's just so weird, man. I don't know why. And why is there this? Why is Bountiful Hunter on here? This is a supportive focus trait line. Why is a damage fucking trait on here? What? Why? Why have they not changed this yet? I am still absolutely mind blown. You look at the rest of this whole fucking trait line. This is obviously a supportive... They even say it in here! Application of supportive and regenerative boons for yourself, your pet, blah, 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 blah. Supporting and regenerative boons. Supportive and regenerative boons. Not offensive boons. Supportive and regeneration fucking boons, okay? How is Might and Fury fucking... How is that supportive? Alright? You know, like... I don't know. This still pisses me off to this day, the fact that they haven't moved that. They need to move this trait to Beast Mastery. I don't know, replace this trait with something else. It's fucking stupid to have this on here. Maybe put it in another trait line. Hell, put it on Untamed as like a fucking passive thing. You know, I don't know. Hell, merge it! Merge the 2 traits together. Sorry, I'm jealous of Mechanist, okay? But yeah, that's the huge fucking deal. And then we have We Heal as 1. You're forced... Now, this is the most consistent way to do it, okay? If you don't want to take this piece of shit trait line, and you want to go with the vastly superior skirmishing, you're going to have to use We Heal as 1. You're going to have to, you know, replace... Troll Engine's getting a buff soon to be 20 seconds, which is great. Pearliest Gift is also a phenomenal heal skill, even with that weird-ass change. You're forced to take We Heal as 1 and use it off cooldown, which also feels like shit, in order to... give boons to your pet. And the only boon that stays on for an actual reasonable amount of time is Might. The only reason why you're using it. I'm having a mental breakdown. That just feels terrible, dude. That feels absolutely awful. I'm still mind blown they haven't changed this. It just is. It fucking hurts the fact that they have not done that yet. It's been almost a year since EOD launched, and they still have not given this, you know, semi-pet focused spec a solid boon share option, which really blows, you know? And I honestly don't think that Untamed should be the one to get it. I think that it should be moved to Beast Mastery, or make it so at least We Heal as One gives full boon durations to your pet. At least do that. At least do that, okay? Please. Yeah, so, oh, man, that was a long one. I'm sorry about that. And the pet-focused trait, there's two of them that feel kind of lackluster. So, Venomous Outburst deals more damage and applies blindness. This is your unleashed pet skill, your first one that teleports to enemies. And by the way, sometimes this doesn't even work. Sometimes you're targeting an enemy. This has been a glitch ever since the first fucking beta. Sometimes you're targeting the enemy, you press the button, you're within teleport range, your pet's within there, and it doesn't work. It also feels like shit in action combat mode. I noticed that kind of thing even more in action combat mode, which really blows. But, I mean, yeah, more damage for that. The only reason you really want to take this for the ambush skill. The ambush skill doing more damage is the big one. And also the AoE blind is kind of cool. But still, it feels kind of lackluster, you know? But you know what? Sorry, drinking water. This is the minor trait, or whatever the hell it's called. Who fucking cares, you know? Let's get to the next one. Rending Vines converts boons into conditions instead of removing them. Unleashed ambush skills remove boons from enemies. Coming from a PvE perspective, this is almost entirely useless. I don't understand why this trait exists in PvE. I feel like this could be changed in PvE to do something else with the similar kind of thing, like Rending Vines will, create, I don't know, share boons to your pet? Fuck it! And then your ambush skill would, like, share boons to your pet. Alright, let's do it. And I don't know, we could do that and just have it like this in PvP, you know? Fuck it. They've done it, and they'll, you know, they could do it again. I don't know. It's cool. Vow the Untamed also doesn't count for your pet, which kind of sucks. But, you know, and I will say, this spec is not supposed to be a pet-focused spec. It's supposed to focus on your pet and you. Rather, I would say you and your pet. Your pet is kind of more of an afterthought in comparison to you. It's not Mechanist where we are literally fucking ourselves. Like, we're doing seppuku to ourselves in order to get a pet that is really kick-ass. So yeah, that's the kind of thing with that. I think that's the video. Is that it? I'm a little more calmed down now. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's the video. All right, there you go. There's my thoughts on Untamed in 2023. As you can see, the big thing for me is boon share. That is the thing that I really want to see going forward. I love this spec though. I absolutely adore playing Untamed. It's not something that I'm trying to be a hater on or be like, ArenaNet, you guys fucking suck, you know, that kind of shit. Like, I'm not trying to do that. So if I give the, yeah, if I give off, speak Robert, if I give off that kind of impression, then I apologize, but I'm just really hyper, I'm autistic if you can't tell, okay, so I naturally am just like, you know what, go fuck yourselves, you know, that's kind of how I am, so I don't know why I said that. Anyway, that's gonna cover it, peace, fucking hell.